do 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 do, and then you like, and then like the G is floating, and then you like pass a golden retriever, and his eyes glow, and you're like, oh my goodness. Hey guys, it's Laura. So today is Halloween. When I think of Halloween, I always just get right to it. I always go to the Haunted Mask. I tried looking for the episode everywhere. It is not on YouTube. That's the only place I looked. I just looked at YouTube. It is, however, currently on Netflix, but it is leaving Netflix November 19th. So if you want to watch it, you can watch it on Netflix right now. If you're in the US, I have no idea. Like, if you're in Canada, I have no idea if it's available. But with that being said, I thought that what I would do today is I'm just going to tell you what happens. You know, I'm just gonna spoil the shit right out of it. I'm just gonna tell you. Carly, Beth, and her best friend Sabrina are just like hanging out, you know, with no light anywhere, because it's 10 p.m. Why not go outside? They come across this shop. The shop's name is Novelty Shop, because why wouldn't it be? They peek in and they're like, ooh, spooky booky. There's some spooky masks in there. Turns out what they're actually doing is they're looking for a pumpkin. Carly Beth needs to find a pumpkin because it is October 30th, I'm going to guess. And Sabrina's like, why are you waiting until the last minute to do this? I'm wondering the same thing. Why are you looking for a pumpkin when there's not even the moonlight to guide you? I mean, there's nothing. You have like a little lantern. You're like, I'll find it. I'll find that pumpkin, baby. She's looking for the pumpkin, and then all of a sudden she sees like the hay, because of course there's hay, and it's like moving. She's like, what? And then like a hand comes out and grabs her. Turns out it's these two dudes that go to her school, and they spook her all the time, and she's just not a fan. So Carly Beth goes home. Carly Beth, let's just call her CB because I just can't do this Carly Beth thing. Her mom shows her this pottery piece that she made of her freaking face. Like, it's her face. And CB's like, the hell? And her mom's like, it's because I love you. And I'm thinking, you know, if my mom did that, CB's mom's like, hey, I made you a duck costume. How do you make a duck costume? I don't know how to do anything. I can barely sew a hole. Let's just skip to the next day. She goes to school. The two boys who scared her the night before come to apologize. As one of the boys is talking to her, the other boy sneaks a worm, just one single worm, into her sandwich. And, you know, they're like, oh, we're just so sorry. She's like, it's fine, get away from me. So she takes a bite of the sandwich. Everybody's staring at her. And she's like, this is completely normal. I'm gonna take another bite, okay? Of course, there's a worm. You know, she eventually gets to that worm. And then everybody around her pointed and laughed. I did not know that was an actual thing because I don't think it is. I've never been pointed at. I've been laughed at. I have been laughed at, but I don't think anybody's pointed? Maybe I blocked it out. I don't want to talk about it. So anyway, CB snaps completely. She goes home, she goes to her room, she sees the duck costume, she just rips that shit right up, and she's like screaming, crying, and laughing. It's the weirdest. I did not care for it. CB suddenly calms down, which, okay, and she goes to her dresser, she opens up her wallet, which is probably Velcro. I think I heard a Velcro open. She pulls out $30, and she's just like, 30, perfect. And then she takes a brush, she brushes under her hair and out, under and out. Under and out. And then she just says to herself in the mirror, bye-bye, Carly Beth. Which, to me, don't do that. Don't do that. But she did, so we have to move forward. So CB decides to go down to that novelty shop because she knows that's where the spooky masks are. And she goes inside, and she's just kind of like looking around. She's like, ooh, cool. Super cool. Totally cool. And she's been there for probably, I'd say, at least 45 seconds. And the dude, the shop owner, finally turns around. He's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, I'm just looking for a mask. He's like, you shouldn't be here. You need to leave. I'm wondering how he didn't notice that she was there. I mean, there was nobody else there. And yet he still didn't know there was a person there. But, you know, whatever. She explains that she's looking for a spooky mask because she wants to scare some people. And he's like, well, all the masks that I have are on the wall. I'll give you 5 minutes to look at these masks or whatever. And then he like walks away and he goes on the phone and he like talks. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what accent he has. I think he's Russian, but he's clearly, I think he might also be British. He's a British Russian spy, probably. And he's just like, I need it now. Or something. I don't remember. I was kind of distracted by Carly Beth because she was just touching everything. And what she would do, which I don't really get, she would take a mask, she would go to the mirror and she would just hold it up next to her face. Like, she wouldn't even try it on. She would just hold it up. She's like, yes. She notices that there is another room and she looks into the room. She's like, ooh, spooky. She sees those creepy ass masks and she's like, I need you. Get on my face. So she's looking at all the masks and she's like, ooh, spooky, spooky. And then all of a sudden the shop owner appears and he's like, what are you doing here? And he slams the door and he locks it. I think Carly Beth is going to die, but she doesn't. because there's about 30 minutes left of this episode, so hold on to your butts. So CB asks if she can have a mask. The dude's like, no, you can't have a mask. She's like, please, I need to scare these dudes because they're stupid and I don't like it. And he's like, well, tough shit. Eventually she like distracts him and she grabs a creepy mask. And then she just throws $30 in the air. She's like, bye, thank you. So she runs out of the store. She gets probably 15 feet away. She turns around and stares at the door. I don't understand this logic. I've never understood this, like in any horror movie, anything, where you stop and you stare. Just keep running. What are you doing? Why would you be like, what's going on behind me? Get your ass going, man. But anyway, CB, she sees the dude, he closes the door really quietly and he turns the sign to closed and you know that some shit is about to go down, but she's like, aha, victory! CB goes home. She tries on the mask and she's like, nice. And you can see the mask like start to suction to her face. And you're like, oh no. CB decides to go find her brother and give him a little scare. And she finds him. She turns her voice into this creepy little grovel thing. She's like, what are you doing here? I don't like it at all. I don't care for it. So of course it freaks him out. He begs for her to take the mask off and she's like, oh, okay, calm down. So she tries to take it off. It's difficult to get off. She manages to get the mask off her face. Clearly you could see that she was scared that it wouldn't come off, but you know what she's gonna do? 2 minutes later, baby, she'll put that mask right back on. I love it. CB goes upstairs, gets her whole outfit ready, puts the mask back on. She goes into the living room, grabs that creepy little face that her mom made, puts it on a broomstick, and then she also puts like this red fabric underneath the head, so it kind of looks like it was decapitated and that's the blood. That's what I get from it. Regardless, it's just freaking weird to put something on a broomstick and carry it around, but she did it. She did. She's like, I'm CB and I'm gonna be some weird ass girl tonight. I'm very excited. CB goes to her friend Sabrina's house and she just like rings the doorbell and Sabrina opens the door and CB's like really creepy. And Sabrina's like, is that you, Carly Beth? And then Carly Beth's like, haha, yes. I'm like, oh my god. So right off the bat, CB's being a strange little girl, okay? She's charging at children. She's like taking their pumpkins, just smashing them. Smashing pumpkins. Nice. Eventually she gets to a house and she threatens a little 3-year-old because what else do you do when you're trick-or-treating? You threaten a 3-year-old. After she threatens the 3-year-old, she parts ways with Sabrina because Sabrina's like, girl, you need to calm the hell down. And CB's like, you calm down, stupid. Sabrina just goes her own way and CB goes, she like runs. She just like runs and screams. Eventually CB makes her way to the local cemetery and she sees those 2 boys who always pick on her. So she sees these boys and she's holding her head on a stick and she just tells them to apologize to it. And they're like, who the hell are you? She's like, apologize, you made her life miserable. Anyway, they quickly apologize because they're terrified of this little creature who is just screaming at them. And they zoom in on that little pottery face and she's like, help me. The boys scream. CB freaks the hell out and she drops her. She's like, oh god. The boys take off running and screaming. CB decides, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bury this face. So after she's done burying her face, she goes to visit Sabrina. They begin to sort through their candy and CB is like, ooh, it is toasty in here. I'm gonna take this mask off. So she tries to, right? And it's super painful. And she's like, I can't get the mask off. CB asks for Sabrina to help her. So Sabrina starts to like pull at the mask. And CB's like, ooh, it's super tender, don't do that. Sabrina says, okay, maybe I can like get my hand underneath the mask, like the part where the mask is and then her skin starts. So she's like looking around for the line. Oh, this part just makes me very uneasy. So she's looking around for the line and she's like checking everywhere. She's like, Carly Beth, there is no line. So she's looking and she sees that her chest has turned the same color as her mask. And of course she panics. I get it. So she runs away and Sabrina's like, wait, don't run. It's like, Sabrina, get out of here. So she runs back to that novelty shop where she got the mask and the store owner is waiting for her. And she like bursts through the door and he's like, I was expecting you. It's like, what the hell, man? And she's like, I can't get the mask off. And he's like, yeah, I know. Ooh. The store owner explains to CB that those masks in the back were haunted and that they were unlovable. And because CB really wanted a mask, it kind of showed that she loved it. So then, you know, it's like, cool, I'll become you, man. I'll like suction myself to your face and just like take over or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So of course CB screams at the top of her lungs and starts to cry. And the store owner asks her how many times she has taken off the mask, and she tells him she's only taken off one time, and that was when she initially tried it on, showed her brother. Her brother panicked and she's like, okay, it's fine. Oh, it's stuck, but I'm gonna put it on again. So the dude tells her that that's a really good sign that she's only taken off one time. But what she has to do is she has to find a symbol of love, and then she can get the mask off, maybe. Who knows? He's just really kind of, he's pulling us. He's not sure. He's like, I have no freaking idea. This is really, you're a little girl. If you were to tell me when I was 12 that I need to find a symbol of love, even today, I would find like a heart shape something. I'm like, this is a symbol, right? What am I doing? But no, CB knows exactly what she needs to do. She knows that she has to go back to the cemetery, dig up her face, and apparently things will work out. Here's the thing though. The shop owner starts to freak out because the haunted masks have woken up because she screamed, and there they are just like floating around. They're like, Carly Beth, you're one of us. Come back, Carly Beth. Come here. So CB of course freaks out, and she starts to take off for the front door. The front door has one deadbolt, and she is struggling. And you see the haunted masks like behind her just being like, Carly Beth, we need you. We love you. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Eventually, she gets the door open. She swings it open. She runs out. What does she do? She stops and she looks back. Oh, CB, why do you do this to me? She looks back, of course. She sees the haunted masks. They're like going through the main door. They're like, ooh, Carly Beth, girl, come back. Where are you going? We should hang out or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know, keep it cash, keep it cash. CB finds where she buried her face, and she's just like digging through it. Eventually, she gets to her face, and she picks it up, and she's like, this is Carly Beth. I'm Carly Beth. This is Carly Beth. And the haunted masks, they just like float away. They're like, oh hell, okay girl, like calm down. There's a train coming. Toby doesn't like the train, so he's gonna finish this with me. So what happens? Yes, Carly Beth, because she found her face, which is apparently a symbol of love, her mask came off, and she's like, cool beans. So what does she do? She runs home with her face and the haunted mask. Because why? She's a doofus. You wanna lay down? Oh my, what a yawn. So CB gets home, she sees her mom. She's like, I love you so much. I had such a rough night. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a rough night. I will agree with that. So CB's talking to her mom. She hears giggling in the background. She yells out to her brother. She's like, please don't put the mask on. Carly Beth panics and she finds her brother and he's wearing the mask, and then it fades to black. What a rush. So anyway, that's the haunted mask. I've never seen the haunted mask 2. I heard there is one. I heard that CB makes a return. I don't know anything about it though. Maybe I should watch that to see what's up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know. Ooh, if you liked it, maybe I can tell you about my favorite Are You Afraid of the Dark episode, where this little girl eventually turns into a porcelain doll, and now I have this fear of dolls. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society. I call this story The Tale of the Doll Maker.